Hi all, this is Priyadharshini working as an assistant professor in the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. Today we are going to discuss the topic about the evolution of big data, how the big data has been evolved. So before getting into the evolution of big data, first let us see what is data and information. So as we all know, data which is raw, it can be defined as an unstructured information. It could be like text, images, symbols, descriptions or even observations. Whereas information, it refers to a processed, organized and a structured form of data. It gives the meaning to the facts and facilitates decision making process. So this is the main difference between the data and information. Then we'll see about the characteristics of the data. So when we speak about the characteristics of big data or the data first itself, it could be broadly categorized into three: condition, context, composition. What is meant by composition? So composition of data means it involves the structure of the data. It mainly deals with the type, the granularity of the data, the nature of data being generated. So all these comes under the composition of data. The next one is condition. So when we speak about the condition, it represents the state of the data being used. That is, it can answer two questions as we are going to use the data as it is for analysis, or are we going to clean the data or cleanse the data for further analytics. The next one is context. So context is nothing but the facts that facilitates big data analytics. So context refers to four questions: how the data being generated, how sensitive is this data, from where it's being generated. So all these complex questions comes under the context of the data. So now let's see what is big data. As we all know, big data is larger or voluminous. It handles a complex data set. It is from different sources such as structured, unstructured and semi-structured data. And it is also from different types. This big data cannot be handled by the traditional database system. So that is why it is called as big data. So big data is voluminous, complex data set from different sources with different variety, and the traditional database management system could not able to handle or analyze these types of data. Then what is big data analytics? So big data analytics is mainly used for gathering the data, storing, analyzing or processing. From this big data, it is getting useful business intelligence, and also it is used to make better decisions for business growth. Now let us see into the topic, the evolution of big data. So when we speak about evolution of big data, in the late 1980s, we were using only about the mainframe systems. So when we use mainframe systems, the data was very structured and very primitive. Later in the 1980s till 2000, the data were structured, as well as the relational database system came into existence, and even we saw the rise of WWW, DBMS, OLAP, which is online analytical processing, dashboards, scorecards, data mining and statistical analysis also came into progress. And when we speak about after that later, the evolution of big data in later 2000s, so these data were from tremendous sources like WWW, IoT, transportation, or from all these sources the data has been generated. So when we speak about the evolution of big data from 1980s to 2000, the major evolution took place. So big data was coined by John Massey in 1998. So he refers big data as the next way of infrastructures. In 2000, Francis Diebold presented a paper titled Big Data Dynamic Factor Models for Microeconomic Measurement and Forecasting to the 8th World Congress of Econometric Society. In later 2000s and 2010, Doc Landry in 2001 coined 3 V's, that is your variety, volume and also the velocity of data. He has merged with analysts from Meta Group, the Gartner. So he says that 3D data management is controlling data, which is volume, velocity, and variety. So these three V's have become the most accepted dimensions for defining these big data. In 2000 to 2010, a major development took place. So a web-based unstructured content came into existence. Information retrieval and extraction was more complex. Opinion mining happened. Web analytics is done. Social media analysis, social network analysis, and even data from traffic and online stores also were being created. So this is how the big data has been